Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 88 Lessons. This one's number what? 12. Episode number 12, lesson number 12. And it's titled The Easiest Path to More Bitcoin in 2026. So we'll give it a couple minutes here to let people enter. I'm going to share this on Nostr right now, so Nostr knows that we're live. We can't leave Nostr out. That's for damn sure. Had a big show today on Nostr this morning. So hopefully the voice holds up. I'm sure it will. Kind of used to it by now, I would say. Oh, we got a big zap to start the show. Who is that from? The real battle lies within us. That was the show this morning. We had a really good show this morning. I don't know if most people here are aware of it or not, but we actually do a show every single morning. Every single morning. Well, I guess Monday to Friday. But, okay, let me get this going here. Stream. Easiest path to Bitcoin. It kind of hurt me to put that as the title today, just because myself and most people here know that there is no shortcuts in Bitcoin. There's no real easy anything to do with Bitcoin. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to share a couple strategies that I've been using for the last couple of years to bump my stack up a bit. Seem to be working. Proven strategies, you might even say. So that's who it is. Well, look at that. We got Kieran over in the Nostr stream today, the Zap stream. The creator of Zapstream is in the chat. Kieran, good to see you, my friend. And speaking of icons, we have Letha the icon who zapped us 5,000 units of sovereignty. And I see Sin Diesel's here too, 45 and an 18. 18 and a 45 for 1845. The great state of Texas, where I might be calling home for a couple months a year going forward. So anyways, I got a new hat, brand new fresh hat. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. And might even be giving one away. What? It's nice. It's like it's an orange. It's Bitcoin orange. Nice king logo there. So fresh off the press, brand new hat. But anyways, let's get to the show here. So let me bring up the spreadsheet here so I can stay on track. How's about that? I also wanted to give a big shout out here to Quom 1234 just signed up as a new member right now. And we had Nav 9036, one of my favorite guys on YouTube. Nav joined 6 days ago, the Bitcoin Journeyman tier on YouTube. So I got a couple different things going on YouTube right now. Obviously, we have our Bitcoin School, which I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks here, Bitcoin School, as part of the Visionaries community. But I've actually been posting all the Bitcoin School videos onto YouTube as well for the people who just love YouTube. I figured we might as well load those onto there. So there's a brand new tier in YouTube now. You can sign up as Bitcoin School. I think it's about $10 more per month than the Bitcoin Journeyman, but you have access to every single video every day. Every day I do a stream, and every day I post a video on the Bitcoin School course. So again, that's available on School, and that's available on YouTube now. So you don't even have to leave the app. No ads. I think that's worth it in itself. But no ads and a ton of information for you if you're serious about Bitcoin. So we read the title already. This is the easiest path to more Bitcoin in 2026. That's what we're going to be talking about today. A couple big shout outs. Again, to our newest member here, Quom, Letha the icon, Kieran, for creating such an amazing platform over on Zapstream, and to Gigi. Gigi was the guy who inspired this whole series, which is going to turn out to be something pretty special, I think. 88 lessons. We're on number 12 today, and we have, 76 to go? I don't know why I signed up for this. But anyways, every Tuesday, we've been doing it for a couple months now, 12 Tuesdays in a row. But Gigi was the man who inspired it. He wrote a book called 21 Lessons. And it is one of my favorite Bitcoin books out there. So big shout out to Gigi for not only 21 Lessons, the book, but for all Gigi's done to contribute to this amazing network we're all a part of. We're all in Team Bitcoin, and we have people like Gigi who have been leading the charge for a lot of years now. Big shout out to Saylor too. I know he's taking a lot of crap right now after his interview with Danny from What Bitcoin Did yesterday. But he said something along the lines of people spend 100,000 hours earning money throughout their lifetime. 100,000 hours earning money. And Saylor said they should spend at least 100 hours learning how to keep that money. And so that's what Bitcoin is. It's obviously a great medium of exchange. We've had some people sending sats from all around the world here for the show. Great medium of exchange. Zero fees, zero friction, zero censorship, zero middleman. It's a great medium of exchange. It's also a great unit of account because we know exactly how many units exist today. We know how many are going to exist tomorrow. And we know how many are going to exist in 100 years from now, 200 years from now. And when you have a denominator, the bottom line, when you have an accurate, verifiable number there, you can accurately measure things against it, which makes it a great unit of account. But it's also the best store of value. So that's why it's funny to me when people say, well, is it a medium exchange or is it a store of value or is it a unit of account? It's actually it's all three, plus it's the best version of all three of those things. So that's what Saylor said here. You should spend at least 100 hours learning how to keep it. So he's referring to Bitcoin as a store of value in this sense. And so that's what this 88 lessons is. I want to essentially capture as much as I know, give it to you for free in this 88 lessons course once a week. So it's easy to digest and under 100 hours. So we fit the criteria here. We fit the criteria. Okay, big shout out to everybody who's joined the Bitcoin School in the last couple of weeks. I think we went from less than 80 members to over 130 now in just a matter of weeks, a week or two. So big shout out to everybody who's joined there, because if you're a member of the Bitcoin School or the Visionaries community, you're taking this stuff seriously. And that's what I was going to give a shout out to, is everybody who showed up today. But you know, it's pretty easy just to, when you're at work or when you're bored, to turn on YouTube and watch some random guy talking about Bitcoin. But you have to understand the responsibility that you have on your shoulders. And it is up to you. Your grandpa can't fix it. Your grandkid can't fix it or do what you need to do for your family. It's you. So shout out for people being here today, obviously in the live chat, watching the stream today, but even more so for the people who are taking this seriously, who are learning how to properly store their private keys, who are learning how to manage their privacy and their UTXOs to prevent future fees, basically learning how to transport the energy that they have today that's going to continue to retain that purchasing power and grow over time, but transport that into the future, considering your private keys, considering your management, considering your inheritance stuff. And that's what the Bitcoin School course is. So big shout out to them. Sponsors, we have no sponsors, and therefore we have no filter. I think that's why a lot of people watch the show and enjoy this channel, is because I have no influence. I have no outside influence. I literally just say what's on my mind. I like to think that I speak the truth wherever possible, wherever the platform allows me to, which is daily, but weekly here we try to do it. So we have no sponsors, which means that if you have been learning, if you've been enjoying anything, I know what it's like. I've been where you are before, where somebody helps me and I want to give something back to them. If you've been enjoying these, if you've been getting any sort of value from these lessons and you want to say thanks back to me, you can obviously join the Bitcoin School. You can join as a member on YouTube, or you can scan that QR code on the screen and send some sats to our guy, Arnie. And obviously the people over in Zapstream, we got a couple of Zaps coming in there already, but we have no sponsors. So that's what kind of keeps things going around here, is the people who contribute to the show and to the channel. The game plan today, we're going to go through the lesson. We're going to get a little update on the Lightning list. We're going to talk about this hat I'm wearing. We're going to do our weekly smash buy, and we might even give away some free Bitcoin along the way. So that's it. Let's get her going here. Looks like we got some people showing up on the YouTube. And so that's kind of how these shows have been going. We usually start with the lesson first. It usually runs for like 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes. And then we'll go through the chat, see if there's any comments worth talking about, see if there's any questions. And just feel free to put them anytime. If you have any questions about the macro in Bitcoin, any security questions, UTXOs, private keys, anything that's been on your mind, just throw it in the chat and we will address it after the lesson. And of course, as I'm going through the lesson, you could, if you have any questions about it, you could put it into the chat there and we will get to it afterwards. So again, I won't be monitoring the chat throughout the lesson, but I will be going through all the questions and comments right after the lesson. So instead of waiting, I have been pretty good at getting through all the comments. And so just feel free to throw it in the chat there whenever you something comes to mind. So I just want to make sure I have everything set up here. Okay, there we go. Hopefully it doesn't log me out. Okay, I think that is it. So let's get to her here. And before we do, I just kind of wanted to do a quick follow-up on last episode, because this is going to be basically a part number 2 of the show we did last time. So we talked about a couple different things. We talked about the options for buying, including custodial exchanges and non-custodial exchanges, ATMs, without ID, or you could mine Bitcoin too. We talked about the custodians, what they do, why it's a risk to hold it there, but why it also makes sense for certain Bitcoiners to actually hold their Bitcoin on an exchange. And then how to buy Bitcoin most efficiently. Because I myself learned the hard lesson of buying Bitcoin the wrong way. And that's kind of the point of these lessons, right? Because I've been in Bitcoin now for, I always just say 5 years. But I think it's more than 5 years now. And I've learned a lot along the way. And the majority of those lessons were actually learned the hard way, with a lot of wasted sats, a lot of wasted time. But the main thing is I haven't lost my full stack, and I never will lose my full stack. That's going to be something that I utilize throughout my lifetime, but I plan to pass that on to my kids and their 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 kids forever. And that's how you should be thinking about this stuff. This isn't just about you. I think that there's a fine balance, right? Because there's a lot of Bitcoiners out there. I kind of see it one of two ways. I see a lot of Bitcoiners who are just kind of in it for the price appreciation. They want to retire. That's why videos that have retire on Bitcoin in the title, they always do really well on Bitcoin, because they just kind of want the shortest path. They want to get the bare minimum. They want to use their Bitcoin, maybe sell it at some point in the future, and enjoy their life and not have to work anymore. So that's kind of one party of Bitcoiners. And the other side is like, you know what? I'm never going to spend or sell a single Satoshi here. I'm passing this on to my kids and the future generations of this family. But it's all about finding some balance there, because yes, you want to save for the future, but you also have to understand with just some very objective math, what this thing's going to be worth in the future, in a decade from now, in 2 decades from now. So you probably don't need as much as you think that you do. And actually, on that note, I just shared a video on the channel today talking about setting your own Bitcoin goal, figuring out how much you need, actually taking a look and taking 10 minutes of your life and figuring out what you actually want. Because I feel like most Bitcoiners and a lot of people in the community here have this idea of a number that they want in their head. And that's great. You should always have like a direction and a goal that you're working towards. But I don't think they've thought past that. Again, whether it's half a Bitcoin, a full Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, everybody has this number in their head, but they don't really know why they want that number, what that's going to be worth in 2 decades from now. Do they even need that much? And so that's why I say it's important to find a balance there, because you don't want to be a hoarder of sats and just strictly think about the generations to come as if you're going to be this hero in their eyes. But you also don't want to blow all your sats and just strictly be here for the retirement, the easy life, right? So you got to find some balance there. And that's kind of what the point is here. So the video that I shared today is titled, How Much Bitcoin Do You Really Need? And I would encourage everybody to go check that out if you haven't yet. I thought that would be kind of a good pregame for the 88 lessons today. I'll throw that in the chat right now. If you haven't seen that yet, make sure you go check that out on YouTube. And wow, we got some stuff happening over on Zapstream. I don't want to address that before we go any further. Take a sip of my espresso here. So shout out to Nostr. Wow, we are looking good over there today. We are live again. People are gonna say, "What the hell, George live again?" Tune in for 2 seconds and see that I don't have a voice anymore. I'll be like, "Yep, 88 lessons is live." What should we put for an emoji? Frog? Yeah, let's do a frog. I like the frog. Okay, well, I didn't want to say a big shout out here. 3 people, 4, 5. We got Letha. We got Kieran. We got Moravian, who sent a massive zap for some more sats for today. He said, "Here we go again." Yeah, Moravian, you got to get to sleep, man. It's got to be pretty late there where you are. You got to take it easy on that zap button. But I very much appreciate it. Maria 2000 zapped 5,000. Moravian zapped 10,000 units of freedom. And Maria said, hey, everyone, taking a little break. So I'm checking in. Good to see you, Maria. Thanks for being here, and thank you for the support. And then we got Mark, 65 sats, zap 1650. Said, have to head out soon. Have a good one. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you, my friend. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to the lesson for today. Actually, let me take it off. I'll take a sip of my espresso here. Okay, so this is lesson number 12. And the show today is titled The Easiest Path to More Bitcoin in 2026 and beyond, really. What we're going to talk about today, I'm hoping you can implement into your Bitcoin strategy going forward. And I'm going to show you the exact way to do that. And again, it's not going to be, I know the title here says the easiest path. It is easy, but it's not like the fiat system where you can just print more Bitcoin and just create more. So you're going to have to put in a little bit of work, but I think that everybody here is more than capable of doing that. So again, one of the things we've been talking about here is that it's really easy to buy Bitcoin. It's if you can sign up for an account, which I'm sure everybody here watching the show has signed up for hundreds or thousands of accounts online. And if you've ever sent money before, then you can buy Bitcoin. Last episode, lesson number 11, we covered the different ways to buy it in terms of how much you should buy, ways to do it, Lightning, on chain. So there's actually lots that goes into it. And if you're someone who's kind of brand new to Bitcoin, don't get too overwhelmed with this stuff. I would say that if you are someone new to Bitcoin, your main strategy should be to just buy. Just get as much as you can, whether it's on Lightning, on chain, DCA, smash buy, holding it on exchange, holding some in an ETF. Just get as much price exposure to Bitcoin as you possibly can. That's your number one goal. But once you get past that, once you spend some time in Bitcoin, you get a little more comfortable and confident. That's when you can really start to optimize the way that you buy Bitcoin. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today on the show. So I'm just going to zip through a couple of these. I'm sure most people are familiar with these already, these strategies to buy Bitcoin. But just keep in mind here that there's many different ways to buy Bitcoin. Even though it's very easy to do, there's many different ways to do it. What's the old quote? There's many ways to skin a cat. Is that the right one? That's kind of psychotic, but many ways to, many ways to do it. So the DCA, and actually what I'm kind of curious about today is as you're looking at this list, if you're in the chat right now, either on YouTube or Nostr or Rumble, what's your strategy? How do you buy? Do you do DCA? Do you smash buy? Do you do a recurring buy, intelligent buys, supercharged buys, all of the above? How have you been buying Bitcoin? So the first one here is DCA. And I think most people would be familiar with this one. It's called dollar cost average. And this is a really good strategy, I think, for the long term for anybody who's planning to be here for the next 10, 30, 50 years, because you're buying the average. That's essentially what you're doing. You're buying the average. So it just takes a lot of stress out of it, trying to time, because again, kind of what I want to focus on in this episode, and this is kind of one of the main themes in with the shows that I do, is energy is finite. Energy is finite. Everybody only has so much energy every day. So you get to decide how you spend your time, where you point your attention to, and ultimately how you utilize your energy most efficiently. So energy is finite, and energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transferred. So with that in mind, the nice thing about a DCA strategy is that you can save your energy, you can save your time to do other things. You don't have to be watching the charts. You don't have to be stressing out and wanting to price or the price to hit this so it'll trigger your limit buy. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just set it up and let it run. Let it compound. So I think between the DCA here and the recurring buy, this is probably the best for the long term. So that's one strategy, the DCA strategy. And I think I'm hoping most people here do that. The next one here is smash buy. So this is just buying when you have dollars. Once you kind of hit a certain point in Bitcoin or a certain threshold, understanding in Bitcoin, anytime you receive fiat dollars, you just want to automatically convert that into Bitcoin. And I've been doing that for 3 or 4 years now. Every time I get a paycheck or somebody pays me, I just convert it to Bitcoin. I don't even think about it. I don't care what the price is. I don't care what day it is. I don't care about anything. I just take those dollars and I buy sats. So that's a smash buy. You don't look at the price. You don't care about it. You just buy. I have recently kind of switched my strategy to instead of buying 100% Bitcoin, I've actually been keeping a little bit of a cash reserve. And I'll probably get into that in a later video. But majority of my Bitcoin has been bought through a smash buy. So recurring buy is the next one here. This is kind of buying with automation. And again, if we go back to our little theme here of energy being finite, you only have so much time in a day. You can only point your attention and your focus towards certain things throughout the day. Setting up a recurring buy is a very effective and efficient way to obtain more sats. Very good way to do it. I've been doing this for a couple of years too. And you'd be very surprised. Again, you can do as small as you want to. If we go back to our DCA kind of mentality there, is that it does not matter how much you buy. All that matters, or the only thing that matters is that you buy. So when you're looking at these recurring buys, don't see them as like something that's going to set you way off. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today is specifically on recurring buys. I'm going to show you the process of setting up a recurring buy and why it's so important. But that's a big reason is because it doesn't matter how much you're buying. You could be buying 50 cents a day. But when you look at where we are right now, you have to realize the opportunity that we have being this early in Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of people who feel like they've missed the bus or missed the boat, but you have to realize the opportunity that we have here. And this opportunity will not be around forever. It just simply won't. Where you can trade a couple dollars for a couple thousand sats. So when I say this, that's why, because it really doesn't matter how much you're buying right now. Anytime you can trade your fake units of fiat for 1,000x amount of real, scarce, finite, energy-backed, energy-created units, you take that trade. So that's recurring buy. That's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today in more detail. And then there's more intelligent buys. So buying with purpose. And that's kind of what we do with our DSA. So I get a couple of these. This is kind of where I am right now. Like I don't have a DCA. No, that's a lie. We do our daily smash buy. So I do have a DCA. I definitely have smash buys. That's kind of my main way to buy. I have a couple different recurring buys set up. And then I guess I would lump in the DCA with the intelligent buy. It's the same kind of thing. But buying with a purpose. So buy more when price is down and vice versa. So that's kind of an intelligent buy. And that's what we do. That's what we do every single day on the live streams is we buy when the price is up from yesterday, we buy a little bit less. When the price is down, we buy more. So even though we're kind of spending the same amount of fiat dollars, we're getting more sats from doing that. But again, you have to ask yourself, what's the trade-offs? Because in order to do an intelligent buy, you actually have to pay attention. You have to allocate some of your energy, your focus, your attention from that day to looking at what the price is. It's not much. It's not hard. And if you show up and watch the Visionary stream every morning, you can just do it right alongside us. Or if you do it every week with us here, you can do it right alongside us. And then there's supercharged buys, which is buying on River. I think basically what this is, it's like buying with a purpose, but automated. So really, when you think about it, the intelligent buy is the best way to buy. I would say they're all great ways. Again, don't get me wrong. There's none of these that I would say, hey, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Anytime you're getting more sats, that's always, you're moving in the right direction. Always a good thing. But I would say like the intelligent buy is probably the way to maximize the sats per dollar over a long term. And the cool thing about a supercharged buy is that it kind of happens automatically. So you get the best of both worlds. You get to optimize your Bitcoin, you maximize the sats, and you don't have to allocate any sort of time to doing it because River does this for you. And so that's what I would encourage everybody to do. And I'm actually going to walk through an example of doing this on Bitcoin Well today, but in terms of a recurring buy. But I would say if you're in the US, I would highly, highly, highly suggest you set up a recurring buy. And you can kind of follow the same steps. It won't be much different than what we walked through today with Bitcoin Well in terms of the process of it. But yeah, if you can get onto River and you can set up their supercharged buys, it's the best of both worlds. You get the maximum amount of sats, plus you don't have to think about it. It's fully automated. And again, essentially how that works on River is that when the price is down for a day, you can set your supercharge to be like 50% more, 100% more, 20% more. You get to choose. But when the price is down for the day, it automatically pulls more out. So it's a supercharged buy. It's intelligent, but you don't have to think about it. So that's the different strategies there. And so I'm actually going to walk through an example here of recurring buy, how to set it up. So this is Bitcoin Well here. This is Bitcoin Well, and Bitcoin Well is available in Canada. If you're a Canadian and you're not using Bitcoin Well yet, you definitely should be. In my opinion, they're the best exchange that we have here in Canada. They have a ton of different features, including paying your bills with Bitcoin, so you don't actually have to go through the fiat institutions anymore. You can pay your bills directly with Bitcoin. My favorite feature here, though, with Bitcoin Well is the swap feature. So if you're somebody who uses on-chain and Lightning, this is a really good way to convert if you have some Bitcoin on chain, you want to convert it to Lightning, you can actually use Bitcoin Well for free. There's a free service that Bitcoin Well includes for members on here. But this is the recurring buy. So essentially what you do here is you just click recurring buy, and I'm going to go through this so it's pretty much impossible to F this up. So you go to recurring buy, and then you type in your Lightning address. And if you don't have a Lightning address yet, here, let me put this on the thing for you. If you don't have a Lightning address yet, I would highly suggest you watch, I forget what episode it was. What was it? Right here. Lesson number 9. We talked about setting up a Lightning address. So you could get a free Lightning address. Free Lightning address from Wallet of Satoshi. So you just download the Wallet of Satoshi wallet to your phone, create a new wallet. Rizful from rizful.com. CoinOS is a great one. And that's pretty much it. So then that's kind of the first thing that you do. If you don't have a Lightning address, that's the first thing that you want to do. So it would be like Praetorian at rizful.com. So this is what you need. You need a static Lightning address, not a Lightning invoice, not from a wallet that's Lightning compatible with the LN long string there. You actually need something that's static, like an email address, but for Lightning. So this is the kind of the first thing that you need. And then if we go back to, where'd my Bitcoin Well go? There it is. So that's what you do here. You just type in, you go add wallet, and you type in like a recurring buy, and then you'd put in your Lightning address right here, Praetorian at rizful.com, and then you add it. Hopefully you have that Lightning address, Praetorian. But anyways, so that's what you add. You add it there. And then from there, you actually have to go into your online banking. So I'm sure everybody here has an online banking account set up. And basically you just copy and paste these two things here, the name and the account number, and you add those as a payee in your online banking. And this whole thing here is kind of set up from your online banking perspective. So that's kind of the whole driver of this. Even though you set it up here on Bitcoin Well, the only thing that you're really doing at Bitcoin Well is telling them when this money comes out of my account and shows up in Bitcoin Well's account, where do you want the sats to go to? So that's kind of the main thing that you're doing with Bitcoin Well here is you're just putting in your Lightning address. So then you copy and paste these, again, the name, the account number, and then you set up your frequency. So you could set up a weekly, a bi-weekly, or a monthly payment frequency. And so you do all this stuff in your online banking. And then you also enter the amount of dollars that you want to take out of your bank account to send to Bitcoin Well. So let's say you choose weekly. You do $20 a week. And then that's it. You set it up. You put this information as a new payee in your online banking. And then it's just automatic. It's automated. You don't even have to think about it. So kind of what I would recommend here, obviously, if you're in Canada, Bitcoin Well is the best way to do this. If you're in the US, you could actually use either Bitcoin Well or River. And River's nice. River's a nice option because, again, they have the supercharged option there where you can really maximize your sats. So basically how that would work with River, I believe, is that if you had a weekly recurring buy set up with River, you choose that, and then you choose, let's say, $20 every week. Again, same as Bitcoin Well, same example there. But if you choose the supercharged, River could actually take like $40. If the price is way down for the week, River will actually pull out $40 instead of $20, and they'll automatically buy more because the price is lower. So that's why River's a great option there. So again, kind of one of the main themes of the course here and of this channel is to maximize your number of sat streams. So this is kind of how I want you to think about it. If you are somebody who's trying to get more Bitcoin, and I would say that that's the one thing that all Bitcoiners kind of have in common, is that everybody wants more Bitcoin. Once you cross the chasm, once you have an understanding of this asset, you want to get as much as you possibly can. And so the goal is to increase your number of sat streams. Easiest path to more Bitcoin in 2026 is to increase your number of sat streams. So what does that mean? Think about your Bitcoin stack as an ocean. Ocran. Think about your Bitcoin stack as an ocran. Ocean. And I'm sure most people are familiar. I'm not a wildlife or whatever you'd call it, nature expert here. But where does the water in oceans come from? Streams, rivers. And so if you increase the number of streams, you increase the size of the ocean. So all the sats that you have right now, think about those as just like a giant ocean. And obviously you want your ocean to expand. If you want more Bitcoin, which we all do, you want that ocean to expand. You want it to get bigger. And so how do you do that? You create more streams going into that ocean, more rivers flowing into that ocean. And so you can do that a number of different ways. You could get a second job, a third job, a fourth job. I don't know how many freaking jobs people have nowadays. You could drive Uber. You could deliver pizza. You could, I don't know, cut hair. You could do whatever the hell you want. You could increase your income. But this is a very easy way to do it because you actually don't have to increase your income. You just maybe have to spend a little bit less. Maybe you skip your Starbucks coffee for the week. Maybe you skip your lunch every day at work, which I used to be a very bad, I was very guilty of that. I literally ate out every single day. It was stupid. So you could, I mean, obviously, if you want to maximize your number of sats going through here, get a second job, get a side hustle, start a business, whatever that is. But the stream that I'm talking about here and the stream that I want you to focus on, the one single stream here, is adding another recurring buy. If you have one already, add another. If you have three already, set up another one. And it's going to be it might be a little bit uncomfortable. Don't do it so you're going to get into trouble with the bank or have people calling you every day collecting money from you. But I feel like for the most part, if people just kind of focused on this as their goal, you could easily cut out $20, $30, $50, $200 a month out of your expenses. And by setting up this recurring buy, you're not going to see it coming out, but you're going to check your bank balance every once in a while. So you want to make sure that there's enough dollars in there to buy this recurring buy. So you're going to figure it out. You're either going to get a second job, you're going to cut back on your expenses, or you're going to look around your house and you're going to say, hey, I haven't worn this jacket in 2 years. I'll sell it because I have a recurring buy coming up this week and I don't have any freaking money in my bank account. So it's going to put a little bit of heat on you, a little bit of pressure to actually increase your income or cut back on your expenses. And by setting up a recurring buy, it automates it for you. And again, it puts some pressure on you to actually do that, which you otherwise wouldn't do. Because that's a problem with these DCAs and smash buys is they work great, but they require a lot of discipline. You actually have to take time out of your day to do a DCA or to do a smash buy. Whereas if you just have this recurring buy set up, it's going in the background. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything, but you know it's coming out. So you're not going to buy that new pair of shoes. You're not going to buy that $20 drink at the sports game. Man, I sound like such a nerd. Sports game. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. And so again, that's kind of the easiest way to do this is just set up a recurring buy. Therefore, it's coming out no matter what. And you got to make sure that you have money in your bank account so you can buy those sats. And so then what happens from there? What happens from there? Let's just follow this out. Let's play this out here a little bit. Because the strategy we just talked about there is that you set up your recurring buy. You set up a new Lightning address, or you already have one. And so then you have you have sats flowing into your Lightning wallet every week, every day, whatever it is, however you set it up, you have sats flowing into there. So then you go back and you watch lesson number 11 and you say, okay, well, I'm going to let this build up to a balance of like 100,000 sats, 150,000 sats, 200,000 sats. And that's the nice thing about using Bitcoin well, is you don't have to pay any fees when you do that. So what I'm saying here is you now have sats flowing into your Lightning wallet every week. So once you have a minimum of 100,000 sats, you move it to cold storage or you move it to your on-chain wallet. And so the nice thing about that is if you're not using Bitcoin well, you would actually have to pay a conversion fee to convert that from your Lightning wallet to your cold storage or your on-chain wallet. So if you're using Bitcoin well, you don't pay any fees to convert. And I'm pretty sure with River too, you could actually just let that balance build up there. You don't actually have to transfer it to a Lightning wallet or anything. You could just let it build up in River. So if you're using River, you don't even need a Lightning wallet. You don't even need a Lightning wallet. Just let it build up. And then you do the same kind of thing here. So that's kind of if you're understanding what I'm saying here, if you want to implement this into your own strategy and your own routine, I would suggest either using Bitcoin well or River. I think Strike's pretty good with their DCAs or their recurring buys too. You can set up hourly buys, I believe, with Strike. We don't have Strike here in Canada, but that's who I would recommend there. So Bitcoin well in Canada and the US, and River if you're in the US. So I'm going to put these in the comments section for anybody who's watching the live version today. And I'm going to have it in the pinned comments for anybody who's watching this replay video. So River and Bitcoin well, recurring buy, that's going to increase your number of sats when you're looking back. And again, kind of what I was saying here before is like, it doesn't matter. You could set up a $5 buy. And if you can't find a way to come up with $5 a week to buy more sats, then you're probably watching the wrong channel. And I don't mean to sound like a dick or arrogant or anything like that, but if you can't find a way to find $5 a week, then we're having a different conversation here. So it does not matter how much you buy. The only thing that matters is that you buy. So again, if you have one of these already, set up another one. If you have a couple of these already, add a third or a fourth one here. So that's kind of the whole process. It's very simple. It all kind of runs from your online banking. But I'm going to share a couple more tips here with you because why not? So these are some lessons and mistakes that I've made through the years here in terms of buying Bitcoin. And this is probably the most important one here. If you get nothing else, if you're already like, whatever, Joe, I already have a recurring buy set up, I'm good to go. But if you get nothing else from the episode today, every time you send Bitcoin to your wallet, use a brand spanking new, fresh receive address. Why? Because it's going to preserve your privacy. It's going to preserve your privacy in the future when you actually go to use your sats. Because again, this isn't about whoever can obtain the most Satoshis here. The point of Bitcoin is to add as much value as you can to the world, and Bitcoin gives you a perfect battery to store that value in. So you want to spend these in the future, or you want to take a loan against them, but you want to use them at some point in the future. And so when you go to use those in the future, the implications from 10, 20 years ago are going to be massive. And there's not nearly enough people who understand this. There's not nearly enough people on YouTube who are talking about these concepts. But you want to make sure that you have a fresh Bitcoin address every time you send Bitcoin to your wallet. So if you're sending Bitcoin from River to your wallet, create a brand new, or not create, sorry, let me reword that. Words are important. Generate a fresh address. So if you bought some Bitcoin on January 5th, 2026, and you used a Bitcoin address of BC1, blah, 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 blah. Then on January 10th, or what does it say? January 13th, 2026, you bought more Bitcoin. You don't want to send it to the same address. So if you're using a wallet that only has a single address, and that's the biggest problem with like a Tangent wallet, is there's only one address that you can receive Bitcoin to there. So therefore, all the Bitcoin that you buy and have is in that one single address, which means when you go to send somebody Bitcoin in the future, when you actually go to use that Bitcoin in the future, they're going to be able to follow that back, because that's how Bitcoin works. You can follow it back and audit the trail of where that Bitcoin's from. So if you get a full Bitcoin sitting in a single address, and in a decade from now, you have to spend like 20,000 sats, you're going to dox your entire stack to whoever you send that Bitcoin to. So for the next purchase here, you use something else. Use a different wallet. Use a different address, not a different wallet, sorry. Use a different address. So if you're using something like, that's why I would encourage everybody everyone should be using or practicing with Sparrow. SparrowWallet.com. And the reason why I love Sparrow Wallet so much, there's a lot of reasons, but Sparrow Wallet has unlimited amount of receive addresses. Let me take this down for a second. I'll show you. Q. Okay, let's go there. So this is the Sparrow Wallet here. So when you click receive, it automatically pulls the most recent, or not the most recent, the next address essentially on the block here. But you have an unlimited amount of these. And I have wallets with a lot of these addresses in it that I've used, and I've never run out. So basically every time you'd go to buy Bitcoin, you want to get a different address. And so you can double click this and it'll bring it up. It has the QR code there if you want to use that instead. But then you label it, and that's kind of the next part of this too. So you could say KYC Bitcoin, and you'll have the date there, January 2026. So then when you do that, what happened there? Right there. So then when you do that, you know that address has been used. It'll have the label there. It'll have your balance there. And then next time you buy Bitcoin and want to send it to your wallet, you have a new fresh address that you can use. Use this next one. So then you click into this next one here, be KYC River, Jan 2026. Oh, I messed that one up, but that's okay. So moral of the story here is every single time you buy Bitcoin, make sure you have a fresh receive address to send that Bitcoin to. And just to clarify there, the reason why I say that is because you want to preserve your privacy. That's the point of it. It's going to preserve your privacy. So then when you send Bitcoin to somebody in the future, they're only going to be able to look back and say, they're only going to be able to see that one specific address that you sent it to, not your whole stack. So it's very important, very, very important. And again, kind of going back to the reason I'm doing these lessons, the reason why we have Bitcoin School, the reason I do a video every single day in Bitcoin School is because I just think that there's a lot of information like this that people really have no idea. You don't know what you don't know. And so again, if you can commit 10 or 15 minutes every day, that's the point of Bitcoin School, is that you won't have any gaps in your knowledge. You're not going to miss something like this and pay dearly for it in the future. And whether it's a privacy concern because you sent all your Bitcoin to the same address, or whether it's a fee issue because you sent a whole bunch of small UTXOs to your cold storage, these are the prices that I've paid already in Bitcoin. These are the lessons that I've already learned in Bitcoin. And I'm hoping to pass this information on to people out there to avoid doing that. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing boils down to average people owning Bitcoin and opting out of their system. That's all it is. 88 lessons, the daily stream that I do, the Bitcoin school, that's the purpose of it. And so if you're somebody out there who's like, yeah, I got some Bitcoin, I think I know what I'm doing. Let me tell you from experience, even after years in Bitcoin, I had no idea what I was doing. And I had no idea what I was missing. I had no idea what I didn't know. And so committing 10 or 15 minutes a day to go through the Bitcoin school, it really could be the difference between your family having your Bitcoin in 10 or 20 years from now and not having it. Because you're like, I'd rather go buy a Starbucks a coffee than pay $8 a month or whatever it is for Bitcoin school. And that's okay. That's literally the Darwin theory, survival of the fittest and the strongest and the smartest. So again, it's one thing to buy Bitcoin. That's the easy part, but there's many different ways to do it. There's many different strategies. And most importantly, the thing that you need to know how to do, aside from like the privacy and future fees, is you need to know how to protect your private key. That should be 1000% of your focus in 2026. Learn how to protect your private key. Because if you don't have your private key, if you don't have access to it or somebody else steals it from you, you don't have any Bitcoin anymore. If you don't have your private key, you don't have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is all 100% based on your private key. And so out of the 365 videos that I do in 2026, I'll probably spend at least 10% of them talking about the importance of understanding what the private key is, where to store it, how to think about it, paper, steel, encryption, where to hide it, what locations to use. There's so much stuff to this. And again, I know it's difficult. I've been where you are. But when I first got into Bitcoin, I literally paid $500 US to just access somebody's videos to tell me how to do this stuff. And it didn't have any of this stuff. It was basically just how to buy it. $500 US. I'll never forget that. So not only are you going to have the videos here, but you're going to have me to talk to. You're going to have a weekly live session starting in March. March 15th is when the school kicks off. So we're going to do live sessions. And you're also going to have the support of the community. Man, everybody in there, there's over 120 people or 130, whatever it is. Everybody has each other's backs. Bitcoin is a very lonely place. So not only is it just going to give you peace of mind, not only is it going to make you feel a little bit more sane and normal day to day because you have people to talk to who share your vision, who are on the same frequency as you, but you're also going to learn how to protect your Bitcoin, which is the only thing that matters. It does not matter what the price is today. It does not matter who's buying Bitcoin, which company or which country. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is how much Bitcoin your family has in 50 years from now. And if you somehow fuck this up, imagine how you're going to feel about that. And I've seen it. I deal with this stuff literally every single day of people losing their private keys, doing something wrong, sending it to the wrong address, sending it to an address they don't have access to, sending everything to the same address. Now their privacy's screwed. Sending 200 different UTXOs and now they have to pay $200 to fix the error. Like I see this stuff every day. So again, whether you're in the live chat right now, whether you're watching this replay later, or you're watching this on Saturday for the replay of it, consider joining. Consider joining us. And all you have to do is go to school.com/88sats. And there's a lot of really good people who are in there and want to help and have your back. And don't underestimate that. Not only people having your back, but the power of a network, the power of a mastermind group where everybody in that group has Bitcoin. Everybody in that group is going to be extremely wealthy in the next decade or two. And those are the people that you want to associate with. So what I want to do, I was just bending my hat here. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something. I just want to include the Saturday crowd with this. So I mentioned last week that I was going to start doing this lightning list, where instead of like an email list that you subscribe to, it's a lightning list where you send me your lightning address, and I'll send you some sats with a message with it once in a while, or something that I'm doing that I want to promote. So again, instead of just me sending you emails and you deleting it and hating it, you'll actually get some sats. So you can see here that a lot of people signed up for the lightning list. And I got this message from somebody as well that I wanted to share. This says, hey, Jor, would love to be added to the lightning email list. And then the lightning address there. If there's any email list I want to be a part of, the one I would actually read and find useful, it would be this one. I love the channel and the videos, always making me feel more hopeful, especially having came in at not the greatest time given the current state of the market. So big shout out there to Ocean Seek 73 for sending that nice message with your lightning address. So what I'm going to do here is, if you want to join the lightning list, you can obviously join. So that's one thing. So if you want to get on the lightning list, you can just email. Oh, what the hell happened there? But I'm going to sweeten the pot a little bit too. It's not just going to be that. If you want to be added to the lightning list, email 88sats@proton.me and just put your lightning address in there. Not your lightning invoice, not an on-chain address, your lightning address. And I will add you to the list. And actually, next week on the show here, I don't know if you noticed or not, but this is a brand new, fresh design here. It's orange. It doesn't really look like it in the video, but it's a Bitcoin orange logo there. And so I'm going to do a draw for all the people who signed up for the lightning list, and we're going to give away one of these hats next week. Free giveaway. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I figured it would be a good way to just say thanks for being here. Thanks for taking this whole thing on. And so that's what I want to do. So if you haven't yet, I see a couple of emails coming in already here. But join the lightning list. So all you need is a lightning address, email 88sats, and that'll get your name into the draw for. That will get you entered into the draw for brand new, fresh design, like you want your Bitcoin receive addresses. Bitcoin King hat. So these are going to be for sale at some point in the future. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but you're going to be the second person to have this hat. And we're going to do this draw live on the show next week on the 88 lessons. So that's it. Good to see. I see some emails coming in already of people wanting to join the lightning list. So it's free. So it's not only free, but you're going to get sats for signing up, and you're going to get entered into the draw for this hat. So anyways, I wanted to throw that in there at the end of the lesson today, because I know there's people watching this on Saturday for the replay. And so that's it. That's been lesson number 12, I should say, of 88 lessons. So I don't know what percentage that would be. 15%, maybe 15%. No, not even. Now I'm curious. Equals 12. And trust me, I did 365 days of Bitcoin in 2025. And when we were at like the 100 episode, I was like, how the hell am I going to finish 365 days of this? Then we got to 200. And I was like, oh my God. Have to do 165 more of these. And then got to 300, and I could kind of smell it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have an hour or two extra every day free time. And then I was like, you know what? Had so much fun here. We're going to do this again in 2026. So that was 365 that converted into the Bitcoin School. Now that's what I'm talking about here. And so it was 13%. I was pretty close. I said 15%. So this is what we're looking at here. The Bitcoin School. New logo. What do you think of that logo? And these are the videos in here. So you can see that for the first 12 days, we got, we're on day 13 today. So we got another episode coming today. So we had day 0. We talked about setting your Bitcoin goal. The Mastering Time series was awesome, a really good way to kick off the new year. And then we had what will your dream life cost? That was an interesting one. The Bitcoin unlock and the key to your Bitcoin. This is where I spent 15 minutes yesterday talking about the importance of your private key, how to think about it, and different ways to store it. Because again, your private key is your Bitcoin. If you don't have the key to if you don't have the private key or the recovery phrase, your Bitcoin's gone. Everything that you did, all the time you spent, the energy you put into this. If you lose your private key or somebody steals it or you just forget where it is, it's all gone. And you're going to wake up in a decade and say, oh my God, if I just would have taken my private key management a little bit more seriously, if I would have listened to Jor back in 2026, imagine the life that I would have today. Anyways, that's what I got. So if you enjoyed it today, you can send some sats to Arnie Boy. That's it. That's all I'll ask. You don't have to subscribe. I don't really give a shit about that. You can like the video if you want to. If you're serious about this stuff, I would join the Bitcoin school. And that's it. So for everybody watching on Saturday, we'll talk to you next week. And for everybody else, the show goes on. Okay. So what do we got here? Oh, somebody just joined school. Nice. Shout out to, I'm not going to say the name. Look at Silver, though. Look at Silver. $86. And we looked at the chart this morning on the show. And get familiar with this, because this is exactly what it's going to look like in some point in the future here for Bitcoin. It's really only a matter of time. 2025 was a nightmare for anybody who's hoping the Bitcoin price was going up. But the funny thing is like a lot of people hope the Bitcoin price goes up, but I think they'd actually be really pissed off when they see how the difference between how much they're spending today and getting in sats versus how many sats they'd be getting if the price was 150, 200,000, $1 million. It's like, yeah, this is going to happen. This is definitely coming. Not a matter of if, but when. But when it comes, I don't think anybody's going to be ready for it. I think everybody here is going to be like, damn, I wish I had another couple years to buy 1,000 sats for $1 like I was before. So silver, gold, they're kind of like the warning shot going off here that something's breaking in the system. We saw the Iranian dollar go to zero pretty much. Iranian rial. This is an insane chart. So this happened yesterday. And this is fiat. This is fiat currencies. Why? Iran's just the first of many that are going to look exactly like this. And if you look at even in Bitcoin terms, oh, where's the chart? Give me a chart. Oh, yeah, well, let's even look at USD in Bitcoin. Look at that. Like this, do you think that this trend's going to reverse? Look at that chart. Because it's worth nothing. Fiat dollars are worth nothing. It takes zero energy, zero work to create a fiat unit. It takes zero work. And so over time here, Iran's the first of many to fall. But every fiat currency that's backed by nothing is going to look exactly like that. So everybody's familiar with like the Bitcoin chart going up, but this is what fiat. Do you see any possible way that this reverses? No. So, I mean, there's different layers to Bitcoin. Obviously, there's people who have like a small allocation. They're trading some of their dollars for Bitcoin. But there's, there's people who are actually taking this seriously. And the people who are taking this seriously today are going to be rewarded, I think, more than they can even comprehend in the future. Because there's limits. There's limits on what a stock is worth. There's limits on what a car is worth. There's limits on everything except Bitcoin. Because every other asset, every other commodity, every other thing that exists on this planet, if enough people want it, if there's enough demand for that thing, we can match it with supply. And when supply and demand equalize, when there's a lot of demand and you meet that supply, the price stabilizes and starts coming back down. So literally every other thing on this planet, that's the case. There's a limit on how much it's worth, how much it's valued. But that's not the case in Bitcoin, because every single person on this planet could want Bitcoin and we could do nothing to increase the supply. And that's why I say, once you understand the difficulty adjustment, once you understand why that makes Bitcoin so valuable, it changes everything in your life. Like your life, whatever you thought before that moment, you will never think the same again after that. Because no matter how many people want Bitcoin, no matter how much demand there is for Bitcoin, we cannot possibly match the supply, which means that the price and the value of this asset is going to go up forever. And there's no limit on how high that can go. So that's why we're here. That's what we're doing in Bitcoin. Okay. Sorry, Noster. I missed some comments here, but that's okay. Again, big shout out to Letha, to Moravian, to Maria, to 65 Sats, and to Quom for being a new member on the channel. And just in case you're joining us now, the Bitcoin School I've been talking about is actually now available on YouTube as well. So you won't be part of the community. You won't be able to access the live shows that we do every week, but you'll have access to every single video every single day in 2026 talking about a different Bitcoin topic. So it's on YouTube, but it's about half the price of the school. So if you don't care about the community or anything else and you just want to watch the videos, I've been sharing those on YouTube. You just have to join as a member, like Quom. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Matt FRL is here. He's up 21 sats. Thank you, Matt. Jake's here. The Hick. He's up 33. Jake says, sounds like the intelligent buy is a non-automated supercharged buy. Yeah, I guess so. But supercharged is kind of the automated part of it. Moravian's getting some sleep. That's good. Moravian says, have a nice day. See you later. Thank you, Moravian. Thank you for the zaps today, man. Very, very helpful for the mission here. Filthy Fiat's back. Says, hey, gang. And NPub 1F07 says, good afternoon. Writing to you from 35,000 feet, I'm guessing. 35,000 feet, yeah. In the air? What? Who is that? Just says NPub. Oh, it's Bodhi. Bodhi. Good to see you, Bodhi. Good to see you, man. Filthy Fiat says you can try plebeian market for hat sales. Yeah, I should do that. Filthy Fiat Wallet says, what was that email again for the hat draw? It's 88 sats at proton.me. And we're going to do that draw live next week on Lesson 13. We're not skipping 13 like a hotel with their floors. We're doing Lesson 13 next week. And yeah, Bodhi says, missing my nostriches and Bitcoin brothers and sisters. No doubt. I haven't talked to Bodhi for a while, man. Good to see you, buddy. And Filthy Fiat says, key management is king. Yeah, I mean, I really think that there's going to be so many people wake up in a decade from now and just wish that they would have taken these years more seriously instead of like thinking about what their stack's worth, looking at the value of it, looking at the price, watching these stupid videos about the hype videos, the clickbait stuff. What's wrong with Bitcoin? What's this? What's that? Instead of spending time there, they should have been focusing on securing their Bitcoin. And if something were to unexpectedly happen to them, what's their family going to do with their Bitcoin? The inheritance side of things. So that's kind of the focus of the Bitcoin school. And I really hope that people aren't watching this and you're going to be in that crowd in a decade from now, because there's nothing worse in life than regret, especially there's going to be some heavy, heavy, heavy Bitcoin regret. Look at this, Cannon, the birthday boy. Cannon's birthday was yesterday. He hit a deer last night too. But Cannon zapped a row of ducks, 2,222 units of freedom. And he said, got my first invoice paid for my LLC. Not quitting my day job yet, though. Shout out to the visionaries for the motivation to keep pushing. There it is. You can see it. Hopefully we don't go into Inception here. But there it is, Cannon. Shout out to the visionaries for the motivation to keep pushing. So yeah, I mean, there's much more to the visionaries and the school than just like becoming a better Bitcoiner. Honestly, I said this last week too, and I'll say it again. If you join the visionaries, if you're kind of on the fence right now and you're like, I don't know if it's going to be worth my time and money. At the end of the year, if you feel like you didn't get your money's worth out of there, I will 100%. Actually, I'll do 100 and I'll do 108%. So if you contributed whatever would be $200 for the year, which is fucking laughable, and I'm sorry for swearing. I try not to swear on YouTube, but for the value that you get from that community, it's laughable. But if you go through it and you're like, this is whatever, I didn't really get that much, I will refund 108% of your entry or your membership fee. It's crazy. I want people to understand the level of what we're dealing with here, and make sure that whatever Bitcoin you do have, your family has it in the future. That's it. And that's the focus in there. So the goal for the Bitcoin school is to have every member, every student, or every Bitcoiner going through there set up in a multi-sig. So if you're interested in that, you could either pay thousands of dollars to somebody to help you with it. You could do it on your own, which is going to take you thousands of hours, or you go through the course with us. It's up to you. Bitcoin Kitty, Satstrat. Good to see you, buddy. That was Pipeline before, right? Pipeline. Jorster. Good to see you, Donnie. Donnie Fashion Set. I like that. Jorster says, I can see you in Austin, Texas. We didn't do a weather report today. It's pretty average here today. Cold. Actually, this is probably one of the warmer days we've ever had in January. But we still got a lot of snow, as you can see. Jonathan says, nice hat. Yeah, this is the hat that we're going to give away next week. I was going to do a little different. I was going to say anybody who sends a zap in today will be entered, but I just want to give it back to the people here for showing up every week for 88 lessons. Cannon says, smash the like, my man. 65 sats, Mark. He's in Nostr. He's in YouTube. He might even be in Rumble. Who knows? But he says, good afternoon. Let me bring up Nostr here. Jonathan says 11 likes so far. You have to close the chat to press like, then get back into the chat. Appreciate it, Jonathan. Although I will say on YouTube, I could not care any less about the number of likes or subscribers. I guess it helps in terms of like your credibility and stuff, but like YouTube does literally nothing for me. And every week I'm like, Jor, you got to watch what you say on YouTube. And yet I just say it anyways. But I do appreciate it. If you actually want to support the channel, you can send some sats or you can join the community. John Chess, DCA, nice. Need an expectation for 2028. I don't know what that means. Dean says, hey, how's it going, Joe? You spoke a little on tokenization of real world assets last time. Can we go over that again and how Bitcoin ties into it? As I understand, it's on the Ethereum blockchain right now. Yeah, we might be able to get to that question, Dean. Yeah, I mean, whenever Larry Fink speaks, you should probably listen to it. Jonathan says, Avalon 3 miners 2 will get you 500 sats a day and only draw 250 watts of power. Interesting. I've heard a lot of good things about Avalon, actually. And I'm going to check my Rizful here because I thought I saw a comment about Rizful. What was that? Oh, that must be for today. Yeah, that must be for today. Wow, people are Zap happy today. It's good to see. It's a lot of down days here where we don't lose money, but it's like Bodie sent 5,000 sats, units of freedom. Thank you, Bodie. And I see 715 here from Dean in Australia. Thank you, Dean. Wow. Wow. So far the best Tuesday on record in Satland. Bitcoin Hodl says DCA both river and strike noon and 6 p.m. Nice. That's awesome. And that's one of those things, right? It doesn't seem like much after a week or two or even a couple months, but like you do that for a couple of years, you're done. You don't need to do anything else. Do that. I guarantee it, if you set up a DCA or recurring buy and you did it for 5 years straight, daily or weekly, you're done. You don't have to watch any more YouTube videos telling you this is how much you need to retire. You're done. Like, that's it. That's all you have to do. Take this seriously for 5 years. Obviously, you're not going to stop at that point, but you're done. You won't have to worry about money ever again. Seems like a no-brainer to me. It seems like a no-brainer to me. There he is right there, Praetorian. Praetorian the man. Bitcoin Auto says, for all you fellow dirty Americans, tell us how you really feel. Also sign up for Fold, prepaid Bitcoin debit, daily spins, free sats, and great deals on gift cards. Yeah, actually, what I'm going to do here is I know there's some people watching over on the Nostr chat. So if anybody's watching on Nostr and they have a Fold referral link, throw it in the Nostr chat because you can't do that on YouTube. So if you have a Fold referral link, I'll share it with YouTube. If anybody over there has a Fold. VHF's here. Good to see you, VHF. North Star Camille says, oh my God, you're a busy guy. Yeah, Tuesdays are very busy for me. I sleep well on Tuesday nights. No doubt about that. I got to change the song before I start crying here. Have you guys heard that song Dog Years by Hardy? It's called Dog Years. I'll get you. I don't want to start crying live on the stream, so I'm going to change that song. Praetorian, here's a real life in real time testimonial. Visionaries, 100% like-minded individuals built with and on Bitcoin. So yeah, that's the Visionaries. Again, the Bitcoin School course starts in March 15th, 2026. But you're basically going to get 2.5 months of bonus content leading up to that. The sooner you join. Jonathan says, thank you from Alabama. Thanks for being here, Jonathan. And thanks for the support. Newbies always wanted to drop. Yeah, that's true. It's usually the people who have been in Bitcoin for like a couple years. They want to see they want to be able to tell their family that they weren't actually dipshits. Fiat by decree, yes. Dean says, I zapped your Rizful. Can you check if the message was attached? Yes, I got her, Dean. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Anderson says, that's funny as F chart. Roll on the floor laughing. I mean, it's funny, but it's also like, how does your currency go to zero overnight? Well, I know how, because again, shout out to Forrest here, but this is what Forrest says. He says, everything falls to the cost of production. Everything. And so when you think about that, it's like, okay, well, everything's going to get easier and cheaper to produce. And that's kind of a spin-off what Jeff Booth says. But just think about that. Everything falls to its cost of production. What does it cost to produce that thing? That's what it falls to. Because again, the more demand, the more people that want that thing, we can always meet it with supply, which means the price stabilizes and then starts to fall. So everything falls to its cost of production. And how much does it cost to create a fiat dollar today? If you answered 0, you are absolutely correct, which means if the cost of production is 0 and they can't use it because the internet's off, it has no use, it goes to 0. Like, this stuff isn't that complicated to figure out. But again, that's the first of many coming. But I want to take a little quick break here because, I don't know, I want to give you guys some stats. So we talked about Bitcoin Well today. That's one of the exchange that we use to set up the recurring buy. So what I want you to do here is get out your Lightning wallet, assuming everybody here has one. Hopefully you do. If you don't, that should be your number one priority today. Get a Lightning address and then figure out how to store your private keys properly. Because without your private keys, you don't have any Bitcoin. But get out your Lightning wallets. We're going to play a couple tosses here, and somebody's going to win some Bitcoin. So I'm actually going to do this right now and reward anybody who can move quickly. So here it is. Scan this QR code, and somebody's going to win some Satoshis, courtesy of our good friends over at the Bitcoin Well. And I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds. If nobody claims it, I'm going to snatch it from you. 5, 10. Well, what did you say on Home Alone? 3, no, 10, 9, 8, 2, 1, something like that. What'd they win, though? Here's the question. What'd they win? 529 sats. 529 sats. That's a nice one. So congrats and shout out to whoever won that first one. We're going to do it again. If you missed that one, you're going to have a second chance here. Everybody deserves a second chance. So let's hope for a big one here. Maybe 200,000 sats. A little while ago, we had somebody win 210,000 sats, and then they disappeared. And I know who it was too. So they must have went full Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys and got their $5,000 and retired off it. So there's another one there, courtesy of Bitcoin Well, our favorite exchange here in Canada, and our tie for favorite exchange in the US. What'd they win? 550. That's a nice win. That's a nice day. 550. So I gave the first two there to people who know what they're doing. The third one here, I'm going to give a little bit of advice for anybody out there with a Lightning wallet. Is instead of pressing receive like you think that you would do, you actually press send. So you open up your Lightning wallet, you press send, you point it at the QR code, and the first person to scan that QR code wins the sats. So we'll do one more here just because we love Bitcoin Well so much. Here we go. Third and final spin, or toss, I should say, not spin. There it is. Who's going to get it? Who wants it? Who's got the quickest fingers? And if you won, put it in the chat, or don't, whatever you want to do. It's only 500 sats, so it's not like anybody's going to break in your house and steal your 500 sats. But there it is. What'd they win? 581. Nice. We had all three of those in the 500s, which means we got to do another one. We'll keep going until we get out of the fives. How about that? Number 4. And if you're watching this and you won, or you're watching this and you had a chance to win, the least you could do today is go sign up for an account at Bitcoin Well, and just give them a shot. That's all I ask. That's all I tell people to do, is just sign up for an account. You can you want to have at least 2 or 3 different exchanges in your back pocket. So sign up for an account at Bitcoin Well, try them out, buy some Bitcoin, see what you think. If you like them, keep using them. If you don't, go back to what you were doing. You'll get some free sats. You'll get some tossed into the wall. There we go, 290. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, there we go. So congrats to whoever won those. I got to plug in my phone here. She's dying. She is dying. But I'm not. We still got some stuff to talk about here. So if you're enjoying it, I'm not going to ask you to press the like button because frankly, I don't give a shit if you do or not. But send a zap in, put a comment in the chat if you want to keep the party going. If you don't, then do nothing. But that's Bitcoin Well. So I just threw the account there. Camille says there must be a lot of people with their wallets out. Yeah, well, there's between YouTube, Rumble, and Zapstream, we got a good crew today. So you got to be quick to win those. You got to have quick fingers. Wall to Satoshi is probably the best wall to use with that, from my experience, anyways, of trying to scan those things. All right, where's the Nostr chat here? Jake says the Bitcoin school course has been 13 days of straight fire already, even though it hasn't officially started yet. I mean, you guys don't have to listen to me. Don't take my words here. Listen to Praetorian, listen to Jake, Moravian. It's freaking good community in there, man. That's the kind of people you want to surround yourself with. Just the community aspect alone, I would say, is worth the price of admission. So actually, you can just join and be part of the community. You get access to some courses. You won't get the school, but you can join for a lower rate there. I'm going to throw that in the chat. I haven't even put that in the chat yet after talking about it for an hour here. There you go. I'll throw it in the Nostr too. There's been some people join from Nostr. Surround yourself. You are who you surround yourself with. So that's a good thing to keep in mind here. VHF says the role of the difficulty adjustment is to ensure that only one new block is created every 10 minutes. Yes. On average. That's right. But the essentially that's kind of like the micro purpose of it. The macro purpose of it is, again, to make sure that no matter how many people want Bitcoin, no matter how much demand there is in Bitcoin, no matter how efficient we get with technology, no matter how efficient the miners become, that Bitcoin cannot come in any faster than every 10 minutes. So it's the same kind of thing. But the reason for that is kind of at a macro level, is because then you know how much there's going to be in a month from now. You know how much supply there's going to be in a year from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now. And when you have that, when you can rely on that, then you can fairly measure things against it. If you say, okay, there's 19.97 million sats today, in 5 years, there's going to be 20.2 million sats. You know that. You know the supply schedule of Bitcoin. It's predictable. It's reliable. You can verify it. And that's what you need for a solid unit of account. Fiat does not have that. Fiat's the exact opposite of that. Fiat, we have no idea how much there is today. We have no idea how much there is tomorrow, in a year from now. And we have no idea what we started with. For 100 years, we've been using this unit where we have no idea how many units actually exist. We solely base it on our trust for the Federal Reserve. And I'm guessing if you're watching this show today, the Federal Reserve is probably not somebody high on your level of trust. So yes, that's correct, VHF. And then the other part of that too, you consider, okay, well, if Bitcoin's stuck in time, which is what Jack Mahler said, like, think about this. Think about these two things here. You have gold, you have Bitcoin. They're pretty much going to be competing over the next couple of years for the best store of value. Real estate's done. Real estate was an artificially created, manipulated market, which basically just went up because they printed more units of fiat. Real estate is not a store of value. There's going to be people selling their real estate to buy gold, to buy Bitcoin. That's what's going to play out over the next decade here. So the competing stores of value here are gold and Bitcoin. And if you say gold's stuck in the ground, like there's millions of tons underneath the ocean, in mountains, underground, they know it's there. As technology gets better, they're going to be able to find it more efficiently for cheaper. It's going to get easier to mine. Gold is stuck in the ground. Gold is stuck in the ground. Bitcoin is stuck in time, which means that no matter how much effort you put into it, no matter how much technology improves, no matter how many people want to own Bitcoin, it's stuck in time. So unless you have the ability to travel through time, you cannot get Bitcoin quicker, which means that the supply will never meet demand. And you combine that with a fixed supply, like it's absolutely bananas to me that just like this isn't the most obvious thing in human history. But it's just because nobody has time. Everybody's distracted. Everybody's watching videos of a fucking lady getting run over by ice. It's sickening to me. But anyways, that's a little rant. Little rantaroo there. Dean says, God bless the only consensus mechanism that matters. Yes, exactly. Or should I say to ensure that a new block is created every 10 minutes? That's what you said. Yeah, new block. That's what you said. Another frog. Look at this. Says it's been a while. Don't know if it's too late, but Happy New Year, Jor. No, it's not too late. How could it be too late? You're only 13 days late. But that's okay. That's okay. Oh, look at this. What did I miss there? I want to turn my $1 US to 1 billion Iranian dollars, just to feel like a billionaire. You know what we should do? Let's look at the Bitcoin priced in reals. So if you have 629 billion Iranian reals, you can get yourself one Bitcoin. If the fact that this is even real is crazy to me. The fact that like this is happening and most people have no idea. The average person has no idea that this is happening. And again, I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I'm not trying to sound arrogant here. It's just like, how much do you have to live through to see that there's a major problem here? And then you start scratching a little deeper. You start digging a little bit. And then you're like, oh shit, it's because it actually doesn't cost any money to create these dollars that we value everything with. So you need 629 billion units of currency in Iran to buy one Bitcoin. And going back to everything falls to its cost of production. Obviously, it costs nothing to create an Iranian rial, zero. But what does it cost to create a Bitcoin? Well, it's not zero. I think it costs about, depending on what country you're in, how much energy and access to electricity you have. I think it costs about, well, I guess we could just ask. Let's just ask. I was going to guess like 70,000 US dollars to mine one Bitcoin, but let's get an actual answer to that. This sounds like it's going to be a future show, a future lesson. How much does it cost to produce one Bitcoin in 2026? We haven't even got into like the hash rate and everything in Bitcoin. This 88 lessons is going to be such a, I don't think that's right. No way. It says $13,000. That's not right. Let's try a different AI. Okay, let's bring this up here. Approximately how much USD does it cost to mine mine a block reward? Mine a block reward in 2026, a Bitcoin block reward. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I figured it would cost, which translate to roughly 95,000 on average. I think that's high. The best current estimate, yeah, I think that's a little bit high. But either way, the point that I'm trying to make here is that it costs money to create Bitcoin. It uses real life energy. Bitcoin is the bridge. Bitcoin is the bridge between the physical world and the digital world. It brings real to the digital world. And I don't know if you've noticed on the internet lately, but it's a shit show between spam and bots and all this other nonsense. You combine that with fiat money, we would be living in a literal nightmare. If we didn't have Bitcoin, we would be living in a literal nightmare. And it would never change. It would never improve. There would be no way out here. So that's why fiat money, Iran's the first to fall. Every other fiat currency is going to go to zero because it costs nothing to produce them. Back in the day, like even 20 years ago, at least it cost a little bit to produce money. Like they had coins, they had paper. And in order to create bills, it used paper. Paper required processing from trees. Trees had to spend years growing. In Canada now, we use plastic. So it's still zero. But like even 20, 30 years ago, at least it cost something to produce money. Today it costs zero. Even bills. In Canada, they're plastic. So they cost zero because they just basically add another number or another zero to their spreadsheets and create this debt and pay this daycare. And, it's just like, it's nonsense. So, Camille, sorry I missed this, man. Super sticker. Thank you. Appreciate that. Super stickers help. I believe that actually helps the YouTube channel. By the way, if you're watching this now, later, at some point, if you enjoyed it, if you got anything from the show today, the one thing that actually does help the YouTube channel is leaving a comment and just saying, Jor, good episode today. I learned this, I learned that. I appreciate it, blah, blah, blah. Because then when people are scrolling through YouTube, they check out easiest path to more Bitcoin. They're like, oh, look, Camille enjoyed this episode. Anderson enjoyed this episode. It's probably worth watching. So I don't care if you like the show or not, couldn't give a shit. But I do appreciate the super stickers. I do appreciate the people who joined. And if you can leave a comment, that would be very much appreciated. It's a very good way to, free way to send some value back this way. Shorts are losing. Are we up a little bit in Bitcoin or what? I don't even know. Dirty American here, looking forward to $1 a gallon gas by July. It's coming for sure, without a doubt. Adam Smith says 100K, yeah. Then 1 million, then 10 million, then 100 million. Like there's no end to what's going to happen here. It's okay to be a dipshit as long as we have the sats. Nah. You never want to be a dipshit. You overthrow the corrupt government, then the fiat goes to zero. Yeah, well deserved. Real went to zero overnight by decree. That's right. Nav says the bull market's back. Are we actually moving right now? I should have called the show Pump Stream. We would have had 20,000 people in here getting excited about the price of Bitcoin going up. But I'd rather be with the real ones anyways. I'd rather be with the people who actually want to learn about Bitcoin and learn how to protect their Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin price doing today? Or sorry, I should say the exchange rate of Bitcoin. It's well over 100,000 here in Canada. I don't know if most people would know that or not, but it's actually $130,000 Canadian for one Bitcoin. 94. Wow. We haven't seen 94 for a while. Cool. Cool. Tight. But this is the real price of Bitcoin that we need to focus on. Oh yeah, it is up today. Look at that. So it takes 20 ounces of gold currently, 20.5 ounces of gold. This is the real exchange rate for Bitcoin. These are the only things that are real right now, pretty much. And even gold, I would say, that's a bit of a stretch. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Okay, let's keep the party going here. It seems like everybody shows up when there's like half an hour left in the show or less. So we'll keep going here. We'll get to the bottom of the comments. And again, if you do have anything you want to discuss, I got a couple things I want to talk about. But if you have any questions, any things to discuss, whatever, throw it, toss her in the chat. Lightning Wallet is on my other device. Oh, you want that on your phone, man. Buy Stretch and keep some sats in a Roth IRA for selling. That's not bad advice. I don't have either of those, but that's one strategy. There's multiple ways to do it. Strike was saying Bitcoin while QR code was invalid. Yeah, use Speed or use Wallet Satoshi. Luke, Rantaroo, very Aussie. Yeah, you like that one? Rantaroo. Rantaroo. Oh, there's a small crew over in Nostr today, but they are the real ones for sure. Bodie, Maria, Cannon, Moravian, Jake, Letha. I don't know if Letha's still there. She sent the first zap of the day and then haven't heard from her. A Waller says stack sats and save on the blockchain. Boycott of all boycotts, the act of nonviolent civil disobedience that you can do while taking a shit. You ain't wrong. You are not wrong. That's the actually I want to talk about that here. We'll talk about that right now. Now that we're on the subject, I figured this would be a good one to talk about here today. So let's talk about actually the fiat and what makes Bitcoin so unique and why it's important that the network is fully 100% decentralized, unlike an XRP or whatever token you want to fill in there who claim to be decentralized. We call those tokens dinos. Decentralized in name only. So there's a lot of people that posted this in the last couple of days. This one was from Nostr, a guy named Malice, and this guy's actually in Venezuela. So he's a photographer that's actually in Venezuela. So he's been kind of paying the price, or not paying the price, but he's been providing the news, providing what's actually going on there. Not what CNN says, not with everybody, not who everybody with Trump derangement syndrome, what they have to say about it. This is somebody who's actually in Venezuela, living through this, and he's been doing a really good job of kind of documenting things. So this is the post that he made, and this just kind of shows the importance of Bitcoin. So it says Venezuela just proved the Bitcoin bull case, and no one is paying attention. Maduro used Tether or USDT to move 80% of Venezuela's oil revenue, billions in sanctions evasion settled on Tron since 2020. Then the US made a phone call. Tether froze the wallets, game over. Everyone's focused on the arrest. And I would say everybody's focused on the price. Everybody's focused on anything but what actually matters. The real story in the lesson is that the real story is the lesson every finance minister on earth just learned in real time. Stable coins, shit coins, any token other than Bitcoin, they're a leash, not an escape. If somebody can freeze it, it isn't money. It doesn't solve sovereignty. And sovereignty at the end of the day is what we're all here for. Sovereignty. Sovereignty. So from first principles here, USDT is a dollar plumbing without SWIFT system. Faster, cheaper, but it still has a CEO. It still has a compliance department, and it still picks up when Washington calls. This is why Tether has exploded in adoption. A 71-year-old grandma in Venezuela can pay their fees in Tether now. But here's the thing. This is the most important lesson from this post here and what we saw play out. Useful does not equal sovereign. Useful does not equal sovereign. The entire value proposition for sanctions evasion just got publicly falsified. Now do the game theory. You're Iran, Russia, any country hedging against the dollar weaponization. You just watched Venezuela's crypto solution get shut off like a light switch. So where do you put your reserves now? USDT, compromised. The yuan, political strings attached. Gold, Try settling 500 million across borders in 10 minutes. CBDCs, same kill switch, except worse because it's controlled by the government, not Tether, which you might argue are the same. There's exactly one asset that clears final settlement without asking permission from anyone. 2.1 quadrillion units. No CEO, no freeze function, no phone number. This is the ad Bitcoin never had to buy. The most desperate, high-stakes capital on earth just learned there's only one door. And the price doesn't reflect it yet, but it will. And that's kind of what I see playing out here for the next couple of years and beyond, is like just lessons like this. What do you call it there? A Bitcoin ad, or an ad that Bitcoin never had to buy. People are going to see this over and over, country to country, company by company, person by person. It's going to be the same old story. Everybody's going to learn this lesson. And thankfully, if you're watching this right now, you've already learned that lesson. You've already gone through something that led you to be watching this stream right now. But the other 99.9% of the planet, they still have to learn those lessons. And it's going to happen one thing at a time like this. So great post there from Malos over on Nostr. You can't divide by zero. Exactly. Zero value. Oh, yeah. Well, that was a good drink. Good espresso. Yeah, she gone. See you later, Iranian Rial. 300,000 USD for one block. Yes. Pump stream. I wonder what's going on. Actually, I don't really care. It's sad to me. You know what we still got to do? We still got to do our smash buy here. Smashy. So this is the official Bitcoin pump stream. If you're just joining us now, just kidding. Nav says, Joe, we're coming to take Canada next. There would be a lot of Canadians upset about that. I would not be one of them. Silver's up. Silver is up. I believe the cost to mine a block is the block reward times the current price of Bitcoin. No, it wouldn't be. It'd be the electricity. There's a very specific equation, and it's kind of it's tough to explain. It's tough to explain, and if I can't explain it myself, then I don't really understand it myself. So that's but it's not that. That's the reward. There's the cost is different than the revenue. But that is a good hack. That's a good hack. Speaking of that, VHF, this is a good hack for anybody who's somewhat new to Bitcoin. You can go to mempool.space, and you can actually look at any block that's happened in history, and you can click into it, and you can do some very quick math to see what the price of Bitcoin was at this time. So Bitcoin doesn't really doesn't care about human time. It has its own clock. And the clock, the time is called the block height. So you can actually go to mempool here and you can look at, so let's look at SpiderPool, our favorite miner. Mara, our least favorite miner. But you can see here that SpiderPool, for their trouble here, they hit a block. And so they got the subsidy, which is 3.125 Bitcoin, plus the fees, which were pretty low in this case, only $400 worth of fees. But you can essentially see what the price of Bitcoin was based on these two numbers here. So you can divide 292,927 US dollars divided by 3.13. And that'll tell you what the price in fiat US dollars was when this block was mined. And another way you can do it, this is kind of a cool thing to look at too. And this is a good way to be, oh, we just hit a new block. Who got it? Binance. Actually, Binance is who I used to buy my first amount of Bitcoin. So I shouldn't shit on them. But you can see here that this is the time chain calendar. So you can look at the block subsidy. That's the fixed amount that every miner gets when they mine a block, 3.125 Bitcoin. Plus that miner gets all the transaction fees from all the transactions that were inside that block. So it's the subsidy, the fixed amount, plus the transaction fees, which changes block by block, for a total reward of 3.1577. That's their payout. And what was that worth in fiat dollars? We click into that, we scroll over. So they actually got 297,000 worth. That was kind of the price. So you can see that in the last 2 hours, because the price pumped, that block reward basically went up $2,000 for the miner. That price action. So Binance got 3.158 Bitcoin for the last block, which was worth just under 300,000 US dollars. And keep in mind that the cost to mine a block would never equal the price of Bitcoin, because then it'd be like, well, what's the point? Because there's no guaranteed. Reward is not cost. Yeah, it's not the cost. It's the reward's the subsidy plus the transaction fees. And there's no guarantee that you hit it either. Like, you could put millions of dollars into the Bitcoin network without any guarantee of return, but they kind of do an average, I guess, based on how much energy you're putting into it, how much energy is required based on the difficulty adjustment. So there's a big calculation there. And I believe I thought it was like $80,000 for a Bitcoin. But AI is disagreeing with me. Now, I've said 40% of Canadian real estate investment funds are stopping investors from pulling their money out. Interesting. Why? Why? Stopping investors from pulling their money out. That's crazy. That's going to be another lesson for people. Oh man, I had this real estate fund for the last decade. It went up 50%. But the main problem with that is I can't actually take my money out. So there's going to be so many lessons like that along the way, of like fiat dollar actually having zero value. The problems with gold, in the sense that you can't verify, you have to trust a third party. Problems with the stock market, like we're talking about here, where you basically need somebody else's permission to withdraw your money. People are going to learn these things one thing at a time, and they're all going to lead to Bitcoin. All these roads lead to Bitcoin. And Dean from Australia, actually, I got another drink here. Forgot about this guy. There we go. I'm back. They've been doing the same thing in Europe. Wow. Yeah, they're going to start getting desperate. I think everybody kind of needs to be prepared for that as best you can. But okay, let's do we should do our weekly smash buy here together. So one more time here, this is our list. This is our lending list, which is similar to like a mailing list. But instead of getting an email that bothers you, you get a message with some sats attached to it once in a while. And I'll probably cap this. I was thinking about putting a cap on this at like 88 people, because I don't want to be doing this for hours at a time every time I want to say something. So if you're interested, you can email 88sats@proton.me to get included in the lightning list, where you can get free sats and some spam from Jora once in a while. But it's obviously going to cost me money, so I'm not going to be doing it every day. I don't want to be paying sats every day, plus the time to do it. But the other thing too that I announced today is this hat here. I'm going to be doing a live draw next week for anybody who signed up for the lightning list. So we're going to do a draw. Somebody's going to get a hat exactly like this, Bitcoin orange. So if you want to be added to the lightning list, just go send an email to 88sats@proton.me, put your lightning address in the email, and that'll get you entered into the draw for a brand new, fresh design. You'll get the second ever hat made like this. So our weekly smash average here, this is kind of perfect for what we were talking about today. What is the date today? The 13th. So the price is up, as we know, as we've seen. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy $8. And what I would encourage everybody to do here is to buy a little bit no matter what. Again, kind of what it says there is it does not matter how much you buy. It only matters that you buy. So I'm going to buy $8 worth here. $8. And we're going to see what we get for that. And kind of going back to what we were talking about before, anytime you can trade fake units that have zero cost to produce, zero real value, anytime you can trade those units for real ones that are actually require energy to produce, that nobody has the ability to seize from you or take from you, nobody can stop your transactions. People have no idea how valuable these units are. So anytime you can trade fake for real, you take that trade every time. So we're going to buy $8 worth of fiat, 8 units of illusion got me 6,025 units of freedom. So you can see here the price is up from last week because we got less sats from the same amount of dollars. So that's a problem. When the price of Bitcoin goes up, whenever you trade dollars for it, you get less. You get less real money for fake money. So 8 units of illusion. I got 6,025 units of sovereignty, units of freedom, freedom units, FUs. And we call that the deal of a lifetime. Basically, how I think about it is, because of this thesis here, one day, one sat will have the purchasing power of $1 today. I basically just traded $8 today for $6,000 in the future. So if you exchange some fake units for real units, put in the chat. Put in the chat and let us know how much you spent and how many sats you got for it. Because depending on what country you're in, everybody's different in terms of how much you're going to get. Okay, sorry here. Depends on the cost of electricity. Yes, that's right. Guess I should get another 0.0005 before 95,000. Good idea. What is that? 50,000 sats? Jonathan says, love the hat. Yeah, heck yeah. It's a freaking nice hat, man. She's clean. This is going to be my new, it's going to be my work hat. My streaming hat. I'm going to probably get 10 of these made so it never looks like there's a speck of dust on it because it's fresh. I'll probably make these for sale. Somebody mentioned put it on a market, but I'll probably just sell it on the show or whatever. But you can get the second ever version of it made. So anything else? I don't know. We're at 2 hours. I feel like that's a good time. Happens every week. Every time we're about to wrap up, everybody shows up. Hey, Letha is here. Letha got 22,006 sats in exchange for $21 US. So if you can do some basic math in your head, you can see that the US dollar goes a little bit further than the Canadian dollar. So Letha is a little bit richer today. And kind of going back to that, the reason why I love doing this is because every sat that we have as a community here, as a collective of average people, of random people in the chat, as Bitcoiners and as visionaries, every sat that we have is a sat that they don't have. And when I say they, I think you know who I'm talking about. The reptiles, the word starts with a P. I got to be careful what I say on YouTube here. But, the people we dislike, every sat that we have, every sat that we move to our cold storage wallets is a sat that they don't have. They'll never have. Oh, this is the wrong smash buy. But anyways, I bought $5 earlier today too. But this is what we're doing. We're taking all these sats off the market. All these sats are going to belong to me, to you, to the average people. And you fast forward a decade here, and those are going to hold some pretty powerful influence in the world and wealth. So that's what I got for you today. I see more people signing up for the lightning list. Okay, so we're going to have a good draw next week then for the hat. It's good. Oh, I did want to mention one more thing, actually, before we go. I should have mentioned this earlier because not many people have the ability to make it 2 hours into a stream. But I actually filmed a little course. I filmed a little course called basically 21-day Bitcoin journey, Genesis edition, though. It's kind of for the people who are brand new to Bitcoin. And when I say brand new, I don't mean like you just showed up last week, but if you've been in Bitcoin for like a year, I actually created this free course for people. I keep forgetting to talk about it. I don't know why. But I'm going to put the free course here if I can find it. Let me show you. Actually, it'll be easier that way. So you can see where to go. A free course. I don't know why I keep forgetting to talk about this. It's quite a bit of work. But you go to Patreon here, the Bitcoin Journey, and then you go to collections, and then you go to, what is it, the 21? I think it's here. I'm going to spend some time today or tomorrow. I got all these episodes done. I just haven't uploaded them all yet. But there's episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and those are all available for free. Talking about buying Bitcoin, kind of what we talked about today. How much do you need? Bitcoin versus Lightning Wallet, and I'm going to be putting more on there in the next couple of days here. So that's a free course. You can check it out if you're interested. I'll put the link for you in YouTube, and I'll also put this in the pinned comments in case anybody wants to check that out from the replay. Geez, I need to be better. I need an assistant here or something. So I think that's it. 2 hours. I think that's what we've been doing here. Tuesdays are freaking long for me. We got a lot of people signing up for the Lightning list. It's good to see. And somebody's going to be the recipient of this hat next week. Not this one, but a fresh one. So with that, let's wrap things up here for the week. Where's our 88 lessons? There we go. Reminders. So these are the weekly reminders that we go through every week. Which one should we focus on this week? I'd say this one. This is kind of what we're talking about all day today. So these are the reminders. The purpose of this is just to kind of drill this stuff in your head through repetition. We do this every day on the stream, or most days. But number one here is never tell anyone, how much Bitcoin you have. Never tell anyone how much Bitcoin you have under any circumstances. On YouTube, at the bar, when you're trying to pick up a chick, or a girl, I should say, not a chick. Pick up a girl and you're trying to show her your Bitcoin balance or tell her how much Bitcoin you have. Number one, she won't give a shit. Number two, she won't ever remember that, or she will always remember that. And you're just going to paint a very unnecessary target on your back. So never tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have. And you can take that as far as you want to, but I would suggest, literally speaking, never tell anyone how much Bitcoin you have. It does zero benefit for you, and it causes a lot of potential pain in the future for you. The fiat price, whether it's the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Iranian rial, it's irrelevant because they have no value. So anytime you're comparing something that has zero value to something that has a lot of value, insignificant. So always trade your fake units, we call them dollars, for real units called Satoshis. Any chance you get, whether you're doing a DCA, whether you're doing a recurring buy, a smash buy, any chance you get, you trade those fake units for real units. 3 is a big one here. And this is kind of something we focus a lot in the Bitcoin school and we'll continue to talk about into the future. But that is, make sure your sign device. So something like this. I just had a call yesterday with a guy, helping him set up his MK4. I love these little guys. If you're on a budget and you're like, shit, I need a cold card, I want to protect my sats a little bit better, get an MK4. These things are so cool. I just love these. So anyways, make sure that your sign device, which is this thing, is in a separate location from the 12 or 24 words. Do not put them together. I did this for a couple of years, and thankfully I didn't have to learn the hard way, but keep your sign device in a separate place from your 12-word recovery phrase. And you might say, why? Well, what if you had your cold card and your 12 words in the same house, and that house burned down? Your Bitcoin's gone. All the work that went into accumulating those sats, securing those sats, hanging out in live chats, watching videos, learning, all that's gone. So a very simple thing here. If you don't want to go through the course and all that, just make sure you have your sign device in a separate location. 2 is 1, 1 is none. That's why I say you should have at least 3 exchanges, because you always want to have access to it, no matter what. Exchanges are down, internet's down in a country with a server connected to it. You want to make sure you always can access your exchange, because whether the price is going down or up, you want to make sure that you have the ability to take advantage of that if you're buying or selling. So I'm going to throw a couple links in the chat here. And again, I'm going to have all these in the show notes after, or the pinned comment, I should say. But make sure you have at least 3 different exchanges that you're signed up for. Even if you use just one regularly, make sure you have an account at least 3 exchanges here. I think I have ShakePay too. Bull Bitcoin, I have no idea if this works or not, but I'll throw them in there anyways for shits and giggles. So that's number 4. And then the one in bold today, the one I want to focus on, is the key to wealth. The key to wealth is multiple streams of sats. Get as many of these as you can. Don't just watch the video today and do nothing about it. Set up another recurring buy. River, Bitcoin Well, Strike, whatever you use, add another recurring buy. Could be $1 a week, could be $2 a week, could be whatever. Just set up another stream of it. Number 6, all that matters, you have more sats on December 1st than you had on January 1st. Shit happens. Life's very unexpected. You're going to have to sell some Bitcoin once in a while to pay off a bill or whatever. I saw somebody in the chat said that. That's life, man. That's life. So the only thing that matters is that at the end of the year, December 31st, you have more sats than you had on January 1st. And if you can do that for 1 Bitcoin cycle, 2 Bitcoin cycles, a decade or 2, you win. If you can go consecutive years with having more sats than you had the last year, you win. Then you can focus on actually securing those sats, which is, again, the most underappreciated thing in Bitcoin, I find on YouTube anyways. Number 7 here, it's much easier to steal your Bitcoin from Singapore than flying to your house. A lot of Bitcoiners are concerned about a $5 wrench attack, and you should be. We're definitely not immune to that. But there's going to be more threats with AI increasing, with more and more bad people getting more and more desperate. There's going to be a lot of people trying to steal your Bitcoin. So just be aware. Keep it top of mind. Put a note on your cold card saying, are you sure you want to send this to this person? Create some friction there. Number 8 here, we are right about Bitcoin. We are right about Bitcoin. WARB. So some days we get proven right. Some days we look like dipshits. But if you understand Bitcoin, if you understand what makes this asset so valuable, it does not matter. Take this as an opportunity. And this is kind of what I talked about on the show today. And again, even if you don't want to sign up for the Bitcoin school and go through the course with us there, I would highly suggest at least showing up to our daily shows. And the one thing I talked about today was like, you just have to understand that most people, myself included, aren't ready to be very wealthy. We're just not. We're not set up legally. Our mindset's not right. And so the world still has to figure out what's going on here. And some people are getting impatient. Some people think that's a bad thing. But it's a good thing because it gives you time to build your foundation. Take these years between you being here, you understanding what's going on here, and the rest of the world figuring out what's going on here. Take that time to build your foundation. And that's the whole point of this course. We do a video every single day. It's not a 2-week course. It's not a 2-hour video. There's so many different things to know, and we don't want to have any gaps in that foundation. And then from there, you can just build. You can enjoy your life. If you do these next couple of years right, you're done. Dunzo. So that's it. Another day, another chance to win 3 Bitcoins mining. That's right. So thanks everybody for watching. Again, we do these every Tuesday. Next week's actually going to be different though. Next week, I'm going to do this in the morning. And there is a reason for that, which you'll see soon, hopefully. Well, you'll see Tuesday. But yeah, the Tuesday show, the 88 lessons, is now going to be moved to the morning. So we're no longer going to be doing it this time. Shitty, but I'm sure you'll be happy with what you see. So next Tuesday, what will it be? The 21st? 20th. The show will be at what time? Probably 10 a.m. Next show, Tuesday, January 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I'll do it on YouTube too. I was going to go to Rumble and Nostr, but I'm going to do it on YouTube too. But it's going to be a different time. So just be aware. If you're not subscribed, turn on the notifications so you don't miss it if you've been enjoying these. If not, carry on. So that's it. Big shout out to Letha, to Moravian, to Maria, to Bodhi, to Cannon, to Mark. I think those were the big zappers of today. And it's people like that keep this channel alive because, again, we have no sponsors. I don't ever plan on having sponsors on the show. I want to be able to say whatever the hell I want to about any topic without any sort of outside influence. So God bless the people over in Nostr. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want to send some value back this way, you can use Arnie's wallet there, or you can send it to my Rizful wallet, which is jor@rizful.com. Don't feel like you have to, but you know, if you learned something today, if you got any sort of value from watching today and you want to send some back, that is the best way to do it. So that's it. I hope you all have an amazing Tuesday. Thank you again, everybody over in Nostr today. And we'll talk to you next week, Tuesday, January 20th, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We'll talk to you then.